Hi guys, I'm back. It's nice to be back, guys. I've missed you all. It's the 1st of February. That's when I'm doing this recording. But this today in history is going to be for the 2nd of January. So I have a lot of catching up to do. I was burnt out and I needed time to chill. So it's great to be back. For those of you who are subscribed to this channel and you haven't liked any of my videos, come on guys, just give me a thumbs up. That would be so nice. If you're a returning visitor as well and you haven't liked any of my videos, like my videos, subscribe so that you receive more videos, hopefully quality videos this time. I do appreciate your support. So before we carry on with this video, like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. I've got so many videos to share with you, so many videos, done over 300 videos. This is actually my first video. I know it's a bit distressing, but this guy is a hero in a certain country in Africa. I'm just going to put it that way. And so I'm going to show you. So in this series, Today in History series, I started that on the 30th of May, as you can see here. So between the 30th of May and the 2nd of January, I've shot well over 300 videos. So you can see from all this. So the main videos here are Today in History videos. There are other videos, forex trading, me singing, believe it or not. There's one or two other interesting videos which you might find quite interesting. At the moment, I'm still testing ideas to see what would be favored by viewers. But for now, Today in History is what I'm focusing on. Okay, so this again is the first video that I shot, May 30th, Bruce Mayrock. So go check it out if you haven't seen it already, by Biafra and Bruce Mayrock. There's a connection there. Okay, so let's get cracking with today's Today in History. Again, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe by clicking the notification bell, and you're good to go. Right, so on this day in history, the year was 1492. And in our usual tradition, we're not rolling back the blind today, are we? No, we're not doing that. Let's just get cracking. Okay, so this is Granada. Okay, Granada, as you can see, is in southern Spain. It's a region in southern Spain. And on this day in 1492, Granada, home of the Alhambra Palace and the seat and final stronghold of the Moorish, which was a Muslim kingdom in Spain, was surrendered to the Catholic monarchs, Ferdinand II and Isabella I, ending the Reconquest. Now, I use the word Reconquest because this region was conquered by Muslims. Okay, so the Catholics now reconquered Granada on this day in 1492. It was surrendered to the Catholic monarchs, Ferdinand II and Isabella I. So this is a part of the Alhambra Palace. You can see the intricate designs. This is why one of the things I love about Islamic architecture. The intricate designs are so beautiful. Okay, so you can see from this picture here. I'm going to show you some more pictures. So that's the Alhambra Palace again. That's the exterior. And the detail of one of the walls of the palace. Intricate designs. Beautiful gardens. Another intricately designed wall. Some columns there. The Alhambra Palace again, interior. And this is a drawing of the Alhambra Palace from the Traveler's Handbook for Spain. Okay, so this was the day again in 1492 that the Alhambra Palace obviously was recaptured, also Granada, where it's situated. 1884. Yes, so that quote at the beginning was by a filmmaker, Oscar Micheaux. Oscar Micheaux, pictured here, was born on this day in 1884. Widely recognized as being the first African-American filmmaker, he formed his own movie production company, Lincoln Motion Picture Company, and in 1919 became the first African-American to make a film. He wrote, directed, and produced the silent motion picture, The Homesteader, starring pioneering African-American actress Evelyn Preer, based on his novel of the same name. In 1924, he introduced the movie-going world to Paul Robeson in his film Body and Soul. Coming up, this guy wrote or edited more than 500 books and an estimated 90,000 letters and postcards. Can you imagine that? 90,000. This guy was crazy, man. 90,000. Man. Anyway, so I'm going to feature this guy as well. Coming up in a few minutes. So let's crack on. 1915, John Hope Franklin, pictured right here. This is John Hope Franklin, revered historian and past president of the American Historical Association, born on this day. More than 3 million copies of his book, From Slavery to Freedom, have been sold. So go check it out if you're interested in stuff like that. He was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1995. So this is John Hope Franklin, who was born on this day, revered historian and past president of the American Historical Association. Let us now move on to this crazy guy. His name is, wait for it, Isaac Asimov. Who was Isaac Asimov? That's the guy pictured here. Isaac Asimov was an American writer and professor of biochemistry at Boston University. He was known for his works of science fiction and popular science. Asimov was a prolific writer. You don't say. Prolific is an understatement. He wrote or edited more than 500 books. Like I said earlier, he also wrote an estimated 90,000 letters and postcards. My God. You know, I'm just trying to imagine what his fingers, did he eventually lose, his writing ability, or his hands became very strong with fingers? It's incredible. Incredible. So Isaac Asimov pictured here, you can see this guy's a nerd. The steam or the smoke coming out from the right side or the left side of the picture. I guess I think I should have pictured it coming out from his head. Anyway, Isaac Asimov, born on this day in 1920, he was an American writer and professor of biochemistry at Boston University. Wrote an estimated 90,000 letters and postcards, edited more than 500 books. 47 years later, in 1967, American Republican politician Ronald Reagan, who previously worked as an actor, was sworn in as governor of California. That history repeated itself, obviously, in Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I bet you he probably very likely studied the life of Ronald Reagan. He said, oh, this guy was an actor, he became governor, I can do the same. And obviously, as you all know, Ronald Reagan eventually became president of the United States. I don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger has any presidential ambitions at this time. But again, this was the day that Ronald Reagan was sworn in as governor of California. The year was 1967. Exactly a year later, Academy Award-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr. was born. He was born in the Bronx, New York. His mother, Shirley Mae Sullivan, was a backup singer for the Sweethearts. His father, Cuba Gooding, was a lead vocalist for the R&B group The Main Ingredient, which had a hit with the song "Everybody Plays a Fool Sometimes. It's no exception to the rule." So That's Cuba Gooding Jr. His paternal grandfather was from Barbados. So happy birthday, Cuba Gooding Jr., born on the 2nd of January 1968. Moving swiftly on, 7 years later, 1975, this guy, whose name is Walter Washington, became, interestingly, the first African-American mayor of Washington, D.C. He was sworn in on this day. He was named among Ebony magazine's 100 most influential Black Americans in 1974, 1975, and 1976. 2 years later, 1977, Errol Garner, pictured here, jazz pianist, sadly died. Was most well known for composing the jazz standard Misty. As you can see from this is an album, an LP cover. Errol Garner passed on this day in 1977. Jazz pianist. Okay, so I'm going to put a pause right here, right now. Do you think there's life in outer space? Well, I don't have the answer, but this intriguing discovery on this day might interest you. But before that, let's move on to the year 1991. On this day in 1991, this lovely, beautiful lady who reminds me of Auntie Viv from Fresh Prince, Sharon Pratt, was sworn in as mayor of Washington, D.C. So another Washington, D.C. mayor, this time a woman. So Sharon Pratt was the first woman to be sworn in or to be made mayor of Washington, D.C. She is an American attorney and politician as well. She served as third mayor of the District of Columbia. So first female mayor and third mayor overall. Sharon Pratt, formerly Sharon Pratt Dixon and then Sharon Pratt Kelly. She is now Sharon Pratt. She was mayor from 1991 to 1995. On this day again, sadly, in the year 2000, rioting and looting broke out between majority Muslims and minority Coptic Christians in the village of Al-Kosheh, about 450 kilometers, which is 270 miles south of Cairo, and more than 24 deaths are reported. The Copts, so the Coptic Christians, constitute about 10% of the Egyptian population. So as you can see here, this Coptic Christians are demonstrating, obviously, really sad that they have been persecuted, have been killed by the Muslims. I don't want to present this story in a one-sided way, but the situation in Egypt, can get really, really bad. When you have Muslims and Christians living together in some countries. In most countries, they tend to live together peacefully. But in certain countries, you have skirmishes here and there. We have issues like that in Nigeria as well. That's where I'm originally from, where you have, at the moment, Fulani headsmen. Some people say they're being sponsored by Boko Haram, or that they're one and the same. Their cattle invading the farms, it's sad that we have to live in a world where in some of these countries, Christians and Muslims or Jews and Muslims or Hindus and Muslims, Hindus and Christians, the major religions in the world, we need to learn to live together in peace. There is absolutely no excuse for violence, for someone attacking another person because of their religion or because of their faith or because of anything, their color, their creed, sexual orientation. There's no need for that. Just let people be. Let people be. As long as they're not interfering with you, they're not causing you any harm, just let people be. Live and let live, so this is a situation with the Coptic Christians in Egypt. It's an ongoing thing, but I guess the incident in the year 2000 made the news because a lot of people died, and I don't know if it was the first major disturbance in Egypt in recent years. That's why this made the news. But again, so this was the day in 2000, exactly 21 years ago, that 24 deaths were reported. My guess is that most of these deaths were the Coptic Christians. So you can see a picture of someone here, the bottom right, presumably a picture of someone who lost his life. And there's one more picture in the middle as well, very tiny. If you can see my arrow. So sad. Christians killed while praying. Anyway, let's move on to the events 4 years later. So on this day in 2004, this spacecraft, it's called Stardust. So Stardust collected dust grains from the comet Wild 2, and the cometary material was later revealed to contain the amino acid glycine, which is an essential building block of life. So I did talk about if there was life in outer space, so that was my question a few minutes ago. And so this is an indication that there is indeed life in outer space. Maybe not life as we know it, life in some other sort of form, but the spacecraft pictured here, NASA's spacecraft Stardust, collected dust grains from the comet Wild 2. And the cometary material was later revealed to contain amino acid glycine, which is an essential building block of life. That brings us to the end of today's Today in History. Again, if you haven't checked out my other videos, you haven't subscribed, you haven't liked, do me a favor once again, like, share, and subscribe. So you can subscribe by clicking the notification bell and just click that. Okay, so go check out this video as well if you haven't seen it already. It's an interesting one. It's called The Christmas Star, and my other videos. Thanks again, guys, for dropping by. I'll see you tomorrow, January 3rd, for another edition of Today in History. Once again, that's my name on the screen, Sotonye Afiesimama. Thanks for dropping by, guys. I appreciate your support. Take care, stay safe, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.